Are we live? Are we here? Are we present? I think I'm here. Are we here? I hope we're here. Anyways, hi. Welcome in. Hello. And what is up, gamers? Hi, everybody. Welcome in to the Bird Show starring me and 4 birds. Oh, no, they're on the piss. Hold up. Okay, well, at least I've squared them with the mat, which I believe is also slightly on the piss, but never mind. That's fine. We don't need to worry too much about that. I could spend the entire rest of the stream futzing with this to try and get it at all the right angles, but frankly, the camera is probably not at the right angle, so I think that would be somewhat of an uphill battle, so I'm gonna not worry too much about that, because I never do. Also, if you heard a click, it's because I'm applying hand cream. Because I'm about to do things with my hands, and I like to have my hands nice and limbered up and not feeling dry. And it is dry in here today. I feel underhydrated. So the least I can do is get some like glycerin and whatever else is in this hand cream that is good for not losing all of the moisture out of your skin. Anyways, I was just thinking before the stream started, and I'm sorry this is kind of a non sequitur and has nothing to do with birds, but I've been watching reviews of the Wuthering Heights film, which I have no interest in seeing. But the interesting thing to me is that I'm very interested in critique of this film, despite the fact that I have zero interest in seeing the film, and indeed, I don't like the story. Like, I'm not a fan of the book. Coming at critique of this film from the perspective of someone who is also not a fan of the book is an interesting place to land. I think, well, it's one of those things where, like, you can not like a story, not like a book, and still recognize, like, what it is, what are its aims, what is it doing, and I think the film doesn't, but so that's where my mind's been at. And I was just thinking about how, like, one of the critiques of the director of this movie is that she creates things that are very, like, visually interesting and is very good at, like, a lush kind of visual spectacle, but not necessarily hitting on, like, certainly in the case of this movie, not really hitting on, like, the themes of the source material. And I know the last movie that she did, Saltburn, I was interested in seeing it in the first instance when I saw a trailer, because I haven't seen it. When I found out what it was about, I was like, oh, this isn't for me. That's fine. But part of the reason that I was interested in seeing it is that it was like, ooh, I could see some establishing shots from the trailer that part of it is set in the city that I live in. And I was like, ooh, that's exciting. Love seeing the weird liberties filmmakers take with, like, we're filming things in Oxford. How weird is this gonna get? Just in terms of, like, having buildings stand in for each other and, you know, positing through the magical language of film that you turn one corner and suddenly you're, like, 5 blocks away from where you were because they want to use, like, specific locations and areas that are either A, picturesque, or B, easy to film in. And so I always, you know, it's not like I live in London. This is a small city. Not a lot of stuff gets filmed here. So when something is filmed in here, I have a curiosity as to what they're going to do with it. But yeah, that film was not for me. I hear a lot of people really liked it, or at least a lot of people talked about it because, like, the characters do some gross things, and I don't know, I guess making an artsy movie where the characters do gross things is a fun time, but also it seems like the message of the movie with regards to any examinations of class, which is nominally what it's about, are kind of also not very good. Anyways. But I was just thinking about, you know, what kind of work could this person do as a director, as, like, a visual, does interesting things that look cool, but with something that somebody else wrote that actually is mindful of stuff like, you know, the themes it's setting out to explore, um, in a way that's less bad. And I was just sort of thinking on, like, there are things that I would love to write in terms of, like, writing for screen, writing for, you know, sort of cinema or television or what have you. Um, I don't think, you know, despite having certain skills in terms of, like, visual art and that kind of thing, I, like, directing for, like, narrative film and the language of cinema is not really in my wheelhouse. So I feel like if I were to make a film or something, I'd I'd want I'd want at least a lot of help directing it, you know? Like, I can write that shit. I can write um you know, pretty comprehensive, like, visual directions of how I want things to look and that kind of thing. But in terms of the actual execution of that, yeah, no, I think it's fine to recognize that you don't have to do everything yourself. I don't know. I think that's a healthy way to be. I don't think that I should necessarily be the person to direct a major feature film, as much as I would love to. I don't know if I do a very good job. So, you know, like, glass houses, I guess. Anyways, Turnip, thanks for the lurk. Sorry for my ramble about filmmaking, a topic about which I know pretty much everything I've gleaned about filmmaking have been from, like, video essays about film and the special features you used to get on DVDs. I miss those. Anyway, I hope everyone had a good weekend. I had parts of a nice weekend. I did some socializing in person yesterday. That was delightful, and I got myself, I had Japanese food takeaway for lunch. That was nice, but as a consequence of all these things, I am so tired. I am so tired, y'all. I've just been, like, all day today, because I'm not used to having, like, activities on the weekend beyond, like, the basic errand run, so now I'm just like, and also, like, leaving the house before noon on the weekend is like, so I'm not feeling fantastic. And I have an appointment tomorrow morning, which means I also have to leave the house. Yippee skippy. It's a big week for me. It's like a nothing week for most people, but unfortunately I am in a permanent state of burnout and I don't seem to be recovering. I'm just always tired. Anyways, Turnip says, I'm still lurking, but I agree with what you said about not having to do stuff yourself in a creative team. Yeah. I mean, as a person who tends to have a lot of their own ideas and is very specific about these ideas, and I don't know, maybe I'm not very good at expressing these ideas all the time. I've had very mixed results when working with the limited times that I've worked as part of, like, a creative team have been very mixed in terms of, like, do the ideas and visions of everyone in the group harmonize, or are there clashes here or there, people who don't want to do things a certain way or people who do want to do things a different way, or that kind of thing. And it's I don't enjoy, I think I've always handled that okay, but I don't enjoy handling that all the time. I mean, I wrote and directed a theater production once, like a gazillion years ago, and I had to fire someone, and that was the worst. That was the worst. But to be fair, it wasn't because of creative differences, it's just because they literally never showed up to rehearsals. I mean, like, yes, they had, like, maybe 2 lines, but also it was kind of important for them to be present for, like, you know, blocking, because they were part of a, like, they were part of, like, a ballroom dance scene. So, and specifically a ballroom dance scene set in roughly, like, the late 18th century. So, you know, if you've ever seen, like, a Jane Austen adaptation, you know the kinds of dances that they got up to at parties at that time were very specifically choreographed with very specific move sets. You kind of need to know how to do that. Otherwise, yeah, anyways, it was, yeah, I had to fire a guy. It sucked. Anyways. Oh, that's cool. So it's sort of not firing someone. Yeah, no, firing a guy sucked. He he didn't take it too terribly, though. I think he just didn't really want to do it. Like, why did you audition, Brian? Anyways. Sorry to put you on blast, Brian. I hope you're well. Anyways, writing and directing is cool, says Turnip. You know, I would love to do stuff like that again. But it's weird. Like, it's one of those things where more and more, like, the older I get, it feels like there are a lot of opportunities to do things that I just feel like I'm not allowed to do. And for a long time, I kind of conceived of this as just kind of like a mental block. And to a certain extent, there is a mental block there. There's an imposter syndrome in my head, but also just from like a class standpoint, actually, to put it in very explicit terms, from a class standpoint, it feels like there are a lot of things that I'm not allowed to do. You know, I can't just be a professional dilettante and not have to worry about whether or not, oh, I'm going to write a children's book this week, and it doesn't matter if it doesn't make any royalties, but it will anyways because Daddy works for a bank. You know, it's like, I don't have that. If I take 6 months off because I've decided that I'm going to be a film director now, I can't pay the rent. That's the difference. That's like 30% of what I mean when I say, like, there are so many things that I would like to be doing with my life and I don't feel like I'm allowed to. It's that the barriers to entry to working in a lot of creative fields these days feel like they are closing in terms of, like, income / class-based barriers. More so than they were when I was struggling to get a job in media like 12 years ago. Anyway. Hello, Leaky. Welcome in. Hello, Moriax. Welcome in. Sorry, I'm like, meh. Apparently I have a lot of things to say today. I'm feeling spicy. Anyways, I gotta look for real now, but I get you with the barriers of entry. It's brutal, says Turnip. It really is. It sucks. Anyways, but yeah, I hope you are well, Leaky. I hope you have a lovely lurk, Turnip. Moriax, I hope you're well as well. Sammy yelling at people about quadrilles through a megaphone. Hell yeah. I wish they gave me a megaphone. I didn't have the budget for it. I just had to use my cupped hands. You know? Jeez. Amber, pick up your feet! You know, that kind of thing. Anyways, which tea do I want to drink first? Do I want my mint tea, or do I want my pineapple mint tea? I made 2 mint teas today by mistake. This is peppermint and spearmint. I'm going to take a sip of it. It tastes the same as it does every day. I literally have a cup of that every single day. It is one of my daily drivers, and this is pineapple and mint, which tastes like a tropical delight. Anyways, Leaky says, I just got back from a long weekend at a comedy festival. Hell yeah! I'm running on spoon fumes. Oh my goodness. Well, I'll try not to... I can almost certainly guarantee that there will be very few jokes in this stream, so don't feel like you have to laugh at anything that I say. And if you do laugh at anything that I say, please let it not be in like a you're making fun of me way. But I know you wouldn't. You are a kind person. Anyways, I don't know why I said that. I'm feeling very... this is gonna sound crazy, but I'm in a weird place today. We're painting birds, by the way. In case anyone doesn't know. We're painting birds today. That is nominally what the stream is about, kind of. So I'm gonna start with Western Yellow Robin and see if we can get some, like, texture into them. I think that would be nice. Oh yeah, also, yesterday or the day before yesterday, a friend of mine sent me this link from Pop Mart saying that, like, hey, they're looking for designers to design the next big Labubu figurine. And I'm just like, you know, I feel like there's gonna be some kind of, like, contractual gubbins going on here where they end up making an absolute killing off of the figurine blind box gambling thing that I develop, and I get like £1,000 and my name on the website. You know, but also I don't I don't really want to... I'm really not sure that I want to... I would really like to make, you know, a survivable income from artwork. I think that's pretty clear by now. But with that being said, I also think that, like, the Labubu style blind box system is so insidious. It creates so much waste. And I think it incentivizes people to spend money that they really probably shouldn't be on stuff that they might not end up actually wanting. And I don't think I would want my artwork to be the catalyst for that kind of action. I would rather people, I would like to, don't get me wrong, I'd like to people to buy my art. A shop update is coming this evening. Just FYI. I would very much love for people to buy my art. But I would rather they did it in an intentional way, where they, like, are buying a thing because they know they want it. Unless you want to get a mystery pack, in which case, you know, I also have mystery packs, which is mostly old art and things that I ordered too many of. But anyways. Leaky says, my 3-hour journey home took 4.5 hours, finishing with 30 minutes of enthusiastic baby crying. From a baby, not me, I should point out. Well, I hope that the baby is feeling better, and I'm glad that you were not yourself moved to wail like an infant. Though, honestly, sometimes I'm out and about in the world and I hear a baby just sort of wah, and I'm like, you know what, child? Mood. Absolute mood. Me too, 100%. Relatable. Anyways, do y'all want a sneak peek preview of the shop update? Say yes. Or say nothing, and I'll interpret that as a yes. Because I'm gonna do it anyways. Boom! We have, it's not, hold on, I'm gonna hold it closer to the camera so you can actually see it, and it's not this, the finish on this is slightly satiny, so if the light hits it a certain way, it kind of just reflects off of it, but it's in a cute way, I hope. Anyways, I thought that this teapot was cute, and I liked it, and I thought maybe people would like this little teapot landscape situation as a little sticky that they can stick to things, and obviously I had to make its partner, the evening coffee, because they're dating, of course. Speaking of people who are dating, hello, it's this little friend. Hi. Because I don't know, I like this teacup guy, and I hope you like this teacup guy too. But I couldn't make the teacup guy without making the teacup, and I just need you to. So this may have been a communication thing with regard to the printers with the size of it, but the mug is so tiny compared to the teacup. Oops. It was supposed to be taller. But here we are. Are they textures as pen and ink? They are like it's fairly smooth. Recycled paper. A nice fairly neutral white. I think they're like 150 GSM or maybe 100 GSM. I don't know. Anyways, I can look that up for you. But it's a fairly, the texture of this is fairly smooth. We take the Sports Direct mug at scale. One could do laps in the teacup, says Leaky. Also, Pen and Ink, hello, welcome in. It's lovely to see you. Hello, hello. These two are also dating. Mwah. Anyways, and then I've got art prints. A couple of these were actually by request. And perfect timing because tomorrow marks the 9-year anniversary since the original release date of Hollow Knight. And I had a request from a few people for a couple of specific artworks that I've done to be made into extremely limited edition. Like there's going to be 4 each of these art prints. So we have, first of all, this one, which did, I think, the most numbies of any artwork I've ever made on Instagram, of the little guy enjoying a delicious blue milk latte with his very, very dearest of friends, the Mantis Lords. I don't even think this is one of my best pieces, but people just really love it. So I said, okay, what the hey, I'm gonna make a print of it, because someone asked me to make a print of it, and who am I to say no to people literally telling me what it is they want from me? That is as a person who makes stuff and then sells that stuff, that is the dream, is actually getting direct feedback of, hey, if you made this, I would give you money for it. You know what I mean? Anyways, additionally, returning to the theme of beverages, I suppose, we have the Lost Kid and their many Fantas. Tee-hee, tee-hee. Which, I guess this is the Lost Kin's origin story. So there's that. And additionally, the little guy in a little, this was, I painted this. I posted this on my 40th birthday. How special is that? The little guy in their little, like, striped one-piece swimsuit going for a little splish-splosh in the void fountain. How fresh. And to celebrate Silk Song as well, we have this little alpine scene of our dear friend Hornet going skiing. This is 100% canon. This happened. Spoilers for Silk Song, I guess. Anyways, but in addition to that, a couple of non Hollow Knight Silk Song things. I did do Craig, because I don't know, if you don't love Craig, then you should, because he's a very sweet boy, and he's trying his best. I also did this one because, again, someone explicitly expressed interest in receiving this as a print, so I said, okay, I'll make it a print. This is a print now. So if you want some, 19th century sapphic ladies in the Canadian countryside, here they are. And in addition, I also did, oh, beans, it's that Star Trek fan art. A very good, very old friend of mine commented on this artwork and said, Stargate ? Sure. You know what? Fine. Anyways. And Terry, of course, because, I mean, am I gonna make a Terry art and not do a print? Terry is my boy. So here we are. Anyways, that's it. That's the update. It's gonna be going up this evening after stream, and then I'll be, like, announcing it formally tomorrow on my various socials / discords. So watch this space if any of that is of interest to you. Hello. Leaky says skiing is the least risky thing they've ever done. It's true. It's true. It's true. Silk Song's hard, y'all. I feel like I've been playing it for so long, and I'm mildly concerned that I'm not going to have finished the game by the time they release the DLC. And I feel like I ought to have finished the game by the time they release DLC for it, but I am proceeding at the fastest pace that I can, which it turns out is really slow. Anyways, so here we are. Yay! Anyways, and Moriax is just a screaming raccoon, which is extremely relatable. Anyways, okay, should I pull up a reference of a Western Yellow Robin so I can get a bit of a feel for how the shapes and forms and textures of the different parts of their plumage should be interpreted here. Oh, they're so cute. They're so cute. Okay, this is the eBird page. I feel like that ought to be a pretty good, hopefully reasonably sized reference. Oh, hi! They're so cute. They're so cute. They're so cute. Anyways, I am a fan. The Western Yellow Robin's scientific name is, how do you pronounce this? Oh no, I don't know how to pronounce this. Saltria griseogularis. Cool. Well, I feel as though I maybe butchered that just a smidge, but never mind. I'm gonna I'm gonna start trying to add some ickle texture-y stuff to this little buddy. I'm also going to lament the fact that I don't seem to have... I didn't do a great job cleaning down the palette last time I used it from the looks of it. Oh, beans. Okay, never mind. I'm not doing any painting because it's terrible drawing time. And you know what that means. It's time for the terrible drawing canvas. Here it is. Absolute bad boy. There we go. Okay, wizard. Moriax wants to see... I've been on a real... oh boy! A Ghibli kick lately. Could I get something Ghibli related? I feel like it would come out real cute. That is so unspecific that I feel I don't... Oh, what do I... Oh, beans, what do I draw? Oh, pretzels. Okay. Okay. So for anyone who doesn't know what we're doing here, terrible drawing time is a phenomenon that happens from time to time on this stream where for 5,000 channel points I have 5 minutes or less to draw a character or concept of your choosing from memory or sight unseen on the terrible drawing canvas. I will give you an opportunity to specify if you want something a little more specific than a Ghibli something. If not, I'm just gonna riff. And we'll see where that goes. But I have an idea. So I hope my idea will be okay. Anyways. I'm gonna find my timer and set it for 5. Oh good, it's already set to 5 minutes. Fantastic. 5 minutes starting now. Now we go do the thing. Okay, so I don't know why. I don't know why, but the first thing that came to my mind when you said something Ghibli related was No Face from Spirited Away. So I'm just gonna attempt to draw No Face from Spirited Away. I hope you like it. So they're tall and kind of spooky looking, and they have kind of a face, and it's weird. It's like, is there anything else to it, or is it just that? I don't know. I feel like they've got some little doot-doots. Okay. And then they're just kind of, they're just kind of, they're just kind of like this. But this isn't all I'm doing. But I want to kind of achieve this sort of fading into obscurity kind of effect at their feet. So, like, here's the ground, and here's the bus stop. Am I conflating Ghiblis here? I sure am. Here's the bus stop. And a little picture of a bus. There we go. So you know it's a bus stop. Do I remember how to draw like the child? No. Because I want to do, what else? Okay, here's the, I'm gonna draw, this is getting weirder and weirder. But I'm gonna give, here's one of those little soot sprites. Remember them? And they're going to be... They're going to be holding a big old brawly over the two of them. Because it's a rainy day. And they're waiting for the cat bus. All the Ghibli references all at once. This Brawly is very much on the piss. I don't care. And it's raining. Splish, splush, splish, splush, splish, splush, splish, splish. Rain, 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 rain. Rainy day. Yippee, yippee, skippy. This is... Oh no, where's my timer? I've somehow still got time. What is this? This is bad. Oh no. Oh, what am I doing? Okay, what if in his other hand he's got one of those little completo sweets that they like? Okay, there we go. Yay! Yay! I'm good at this. Just gonna fill in some more texture on this guy. Maybe darken down the top bit of No Face's whole deal. This pencil is on its way out. I'm gonna need to buy a new pencil soon. As you can see, it's getting kind of tittle, and it is in need of a sharpen. I'm actually gonna do that now before I forget. So apologies for that, and apologies for whatever the hell this is. Also, I don't know why this is where my mind went, but well, it sure is. And I think, okay, yeah. That's terrible drawing time. Let's take a closer look at this bad boy. All right. Check it out. I don't know if it's worth comparing this to anything that like actually exists. It's gonna be cuter. Whatever it is, it's gonna be cuter than what I've done, but oh, what the hey. Let me I'm just gonna pull up some references here. So you can kind of see what I was going for, hopefully, and there we go. Okay. All right. No AI overview. Get in the bin. We don't like you. Okay, so here's... sorry, I'm like vamping in the background here. Bloop. Okay. Well, of course there's a Ghibli wiki. There's a wiki for everything, isn't there? There's nothing that there isn't a wiki for at this point, I think. Ah, no. Stop it. Okay. Can you get bigger? No, you're kind of small. That's fine. Anyways, yeah, I hope this is fine. Okay. Please be okay, a reasonable size. All right. So here's what I drew as a tribute to the films of Studio Ghibli. And here's, well, first of all, here's nothing because it's not working. Hold, please. Please hold. Oh no. That wasn't the dramatic reveal I wanted it to be. Okay, well, first of all, here's my Instagram. That's boring. You know what that looks like. But here, this is the one on the right. Here is No Face, from Spirited Away with the. I forgot the tiny arms. It's got like tiny baby arms in there. Oh, that's so creepy. I love them. Anyways, these are the little soot sprites. Being frankly adorable. I love their little doodly limbs. And this, of course, is the image that I was thinking of in my mind when I drew these two characters at a rainy bus stop, was this iconic bit of imagery from My Neighbor Totoro. So, I hope... Moriax, my friend, I hope you're happy. That was fun. Anyways, an interesting little exploration of thematic stuff, certainly. Okay, so it's Western Yellow Robin time. It's Western Yellow Robin time, and we're gonna have some fun, I hope. And if we have no fun, then I'm really sorry. I'll try my best. Anyways, okie dokie. I've got some texture-y do's to do. So I've just picked up a little bit of just my like neutral tint gray. And I'm gonna try and use that to get some gentle texturings happening around the, because the plumage around the face tends to be quite soft. Tends to be quite soft and fluffy little feathers. At this point I'm gonna kind of feather down the little the separation between the like white chin feathers and the gray rest of it. Hopefully that'll be all right and handsome. What a handsome little birdie. Anyways, I'm going to take a sip of my tea because I am incredibly... Ugh. My throat is going. My voice is going. I've been talking too much, I think. Oh my god, we've been on for almost an hour. No wonder. Okay. Hell yeah. Okay, marked improvement. Marked improvement. Yay. Cool. Alright, I shall carry on with my plumagey textures. Anyways, the Western Yellow Robin is found in parts of Australia. Australia is home to quite a number of robin species, it turns out. It wasn't until like late last year that I realized just how many different kinds of robin existed in the world. And the answer is lots. Like so many. Like so many. Like I don't have a definitive number of how many different robin species there are because there's just so many. Beans. And they are all incredibly cute. So, you know. It felt like the right choice creatively for me to task myself with getting to paint at least some of them. I genuinely think it would take me a whole ass lifetime to paint every species of robin to like exist because there are so many. But at the very least, I can do, you know, maybe 16 different species of robin, I feel like, fairly confidently. Okay, there's kind of like a little doot on this side of the wing here, and then we kind of comes down like that. Okay, and there we obviously kind of start getting into the wing feathers, which are a different shape. And so we want to treat them a little bit differently as well. They are also a little bit darker in color if this photo is anything to go off of. So I might add just a little bit more paint to that. And maybe I feel like they also want to be a little bit a slightly browner gray compared to the sort of softer plumage. So I'm going to pick up some from my from this Gansai palette that we've been using. I'm going to pick up a little bit of this very, very dark brown, but just a tiny temperature shift in the grayness. And I don't want to overdo it. So I might actually just give these all a little bit of a pass. To deepen the color a little bit first. And then when that's dried down, we'll come in and take a look at adding in that texture. How many species of robin fight crime? Asks Moriax. That's a great question. The answer, my answer today is a resounding I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm not super big up on like the Batman extended universe, so I don't. There's at least like 3. There's at least 3 Robins that fight crime. But there's probably more of them that I don't know about. If Tumblr has taught me anything about Batman, is that he just kind of amasses Robins. Like I don't know, he wants to adopt all of the kids and then make them fight crimes, ? I mean, listen. There are worse parenting choices that he could make. I'm sure. Anyways, I'm probably missing some nuance here because again, I'm not really up on the Batman, the canon of Batmanical fictions. I watched I've seen the animated series, but that was a very long time ago. Anyways, oh yeah. Do you want to see? So I'm working on a YouTube video right now, and I feel like this is somewhat of a give. So I'm going to cover up the title text because I don't want to give away everything about this video, and it's a bit of a spoiler. But here's something I had to paint for it yesterday. I hope you like it. It is dairy product. My moderator / spouse saw this and at first thought that it said Daisy product, and I was like, yes, the cow's name is Daisy. And this carton contains her milk. That makes it weird. Oh no. Anyways. Okay. I've just hit a tiredness wall. So I'm gonna see if this is sufficiently dried or if I need to maybe if I can paint in their little feets first, because they've got little gray foots as well. So let me take a little look-see at their little feet. If I can okay, well, the zoom in and zoom out isn't working. Oh yeah, those are some gray little claw feet if ever I did see them. So I've got kind of a mid gray here. Hopefully that'll do for their little leggies. Doo-doo-doo. Just sketchy little feet. You know what? I think that'll do. Anyways, I am, believe it or not, somewhat of a bird enjoyer. I don't know if that's obvious. I think it's pretty obvious at this point. But anyways, okay. I'm gonna try and like zoom in on these little. I wish I could do like serious bird photography, but unfortunately, that is time consuming and expensive in ways that just looking at a bunch of photos of birds and then extrapolating how you would paint one is not. I mean, it's time consuming, but it's not time consuming in the way where I'm just like sitting silently with a zoom lens waiting for hopefully a bird to land somewhere where I can quickly get a photo of them looking real cool. That's tedium to me. That is definitely not how I tend to operate as a photographer. I used to be much more of a photographer than I am these days, you know. I don't know. It doesn't really come up very often here. And I don't really, when I take photos these days, I often don't do anything with them. Like, I don't post them anywhere, which is maybe silly of me. Maybe I should be doing that. I probably should, because I'm still producing some pretty nice photographs. There's not very many. But I tend not to, they tend not to go anywhere. I tend to just get, you know, like, develop them and look at them, because I use film for photography. I tend to, like, you know, develop them and look at them and be like, huh, okay. And then I don't do anything with them. I don't post them anywhere. I don't put them anywhere. They just kind of languish, I guess. And yeah. Partially because out of laziness, partially out of like I do worry about like brand dilution. Like if I start posting like really good photos to my Instagram, that kind of thing, will people start coming to my Instagram for photography and then be like, what the hell is this, when I post a painting, and then follow me? Which, fair enough. Or vice versa, I suppose. Which maybe I should be less worried about, but I don't know. Because I think in terms of tone and just visuals, like, my photography is very different to my painting. Also, generally, I don't know, my photography is less, like, thematic than my painting these days. I used to do more, like, thematic photography, but I also used to do a lot more portrait, like, photos of people. And I do that less these days. I don't know, I get nervous about taking photos of other people, because of a couple of, like, weird experiences I had with, like, people being weird about it. Which kind of ruined it for me. So yeah, anyways. Moriax is honestly birdseed and super glue works every time. How have I not thought of that? Wow, you're very smart. Diabolically so, some might say. Oh my god. No! No. Okay, the thing I'm gonna have to do now for this yellow section again is, oh, that's right. We couldn't get this cap off, could we, for the yellow paint? It is, like, it is basically glued on. So in order to get some of this nice, because of the yellows that I had sort of on palette, they were all a little bit too warm. Like, these are quite warm yellows. And the yellow of the Western Yellow Robin is a very vibrant, I would say, sort of like mid yellow. Like, there really aren't any obvious orange or green undertones to it. It is very sort of like straight ahead, like process yellow, like primary, the Y in CMYK. So I wanted something that reflected that as best as possible. And so I decided the only yellow that I had that I think really fulfills that brief that I had to hand was my cadmium yellow lemon. And I cannot open the tube because listen, there's a reason that I always work with pans when I paint watercolors, and part of that reason is that these tubes are a massive pain in the backside because any rogue paint gets on them, on like the threads, and you can't open it. And you can't put any pressure on this thing when you're trying to open it, or if you squeeze the tube at all, then when you open it, there's been a buildup of pressure and the paint will just come gooshing out. And then you've got too much paint on your palette and you've wasted your money. Boo earns. I don't like it. Anyways. Well, I guess that's enough for the moment of Sammy's spicy watercolor paint opinions and why I'm bad as a painter, I guess. But what I am going to do is get a lot of little downy, tufty texture on here, and hopefully there's enough paint on here that it's at least somewhat visible. Oh, geez, I might have to add some supplementary yellow because this is not showing up very much, and I do need to hopefully establish a little bit of that texture. But as we know, yellow is one of the, because yellow is like the lightest color to exist. You don't have as many values of it to really play with unless you start mixing it with other colors. So if I can't get this to show up at the volume that I need it to, you know, I might need to cheat slightly and use a slightly warmer yellow to get that texture. I mean, I think that works for now, but we're going to have to revisit it when the whole piece is like, when we're wrapping up sort of the final details of the piece. because it's looking a little scruffy here. I feel like it's just a tittle touch of the scruffiness. Oh, good, just in time for a BRB. My moderator slash spouse is home. Technically the ads aren't going to run for like 30 seconds, but I'm going to go say hi to my moderator slash spouse right now. So sorry for the slightly early break, but have a drink, have a stretch, do all that jazz, and I'll be back very, very shortly. BRB, everybody! Hi, everybody, I'm back. The birds are being so super loud outside my window right now, it's delightful. My husband says tell that to Tippy Hedren. Those are different birds, babe, it's fine. Anyways, whilst I was on break, I opened my phone and took a look at Tumblr, and the first Tumblr post I saw included someone was making crab rangoons for the first time on plates that look like these. And it got my attention because my parents owned this. I feel like a lot of people in like the 80s owned this exact set, so a lot of them are like going around sort of secondhand in circulation to this very day. But I grew up eating off of these plates, and someone in the comments was like, "Yeah, hey, so that plate contains those crab rangoons look great, but that plate contains a dangerous amount of lead." And I'm like, you mean the plates I spent my entire childhood eating off of? Oh, good. Oh, no. At least, just for the record, y'all, my parents have not used those for like years. They bought new plates in the 90s at some point. You know, real sort of Tuscan kitchen vibes, and also a set of beautiful 70s stoneware that they got as a wedding gift and then would only use for special occasions for years and years and years, and then eventually they were like, these dishes are just sitting in the cupboard, they're perfectly cromulent plates, why don't we just use them? And so now they just use them as everyday plates, because like, who cares? Anyways, so I'm just reading to see whether or not these genuinely contain unsafe amounts of lead. Moriax says, gotta go be a person. Boo, say hi to moderator slash spouse free. I shall do. Darling, Moriax in the chat says hello. He says hello. Have fun going out. Thanks for hanging out. It's been a very fun. Right. So, according to Lead Safe Mama, which is a blog that exists, I love this. Cool. All patterns of vintage Corelle dishes with printed colorful patterns normally found on the food contact surface of the dish, like with the dish pictured, or sometimes found on the external of Corelle bowls and coffee cups, test positive for unsafe levels of lead and other toxicants, aka poisonous heavy metals including cadmium, arsenic, and antimony, in the painted decorations. Oh, yippee skippy! You know, I actually bought one of these dinner plates a few years ago when I found it at a charity shop, and I was like, oh, my parents used to have those plates when I was growing up! So they're, like, really nostalgic to me. I never use it because it's too precious to my memory, but now I'm gonna never use it because toxic heavy metals, what the hell? Corelle? That's effed up! Why would you put, no! Don't you be putting lead in your dish paint? Oh my god! No! Well, I'm sure that did me irreparable damage as a child and possibly explained some things about me as an adult. I don't know. But that's certainly concerning. But also, if you are the owner now of like vintage Corelle Butterfly Gold or other Corelle patterned plates, maybe check and see whether or not those contain unsafe quantities of lead before you serve dinner on them next. Maybe consider popping to your local charity shop and seeing if there are some other non-lead containing dishes that you could use instead. Maybe just get a cheap set from IKEA. It's like the cheap ones are honestly not that much more or the same as the ones you can get in a charity shop. Oof. Well, forbidden dishes, says Casa. Yeah. Please don't poison yourself. Oh, Biddle boy. That's terrifying. I'm gonna call it there for now for the Western Yellow Robin, because it's got some lovely texture, which is exactly what we wanted to see. And I'm going to see if we can add some lovely texture to the South Island Robin. See how we get on with them. Okay. Anyways, Casa, hello. I hope you're well. It's lovely to see you. Welcome. Hello. What was I thinking about? I was thinking about, I guess obliquely I was because I was thinking again about the fact that like I don't really post my photography anywhere online anymore, like my film photography and stuff, even though I still do loads of it all the time. Or loads of it. I go through several rolls of film in a year, certainly. Though I have a single-use camera that I took with me to Copenhagen because I left my camera on the bus to the airport, and thank the goodness that, like, as soon as I noticed that my camera was missing, I was like, I have to contact the bus company. So in the airport, I contacted the bus company, was like, here's the timing of the bus that I just got off of. Can you please contact the driver straight away? And see if my camera is still on the bus. And a few hours later, I got an email back from them being like, we have your camera, you can come pick it up at the depot. And I was like, oh, thank God. But what that meant was I didn't have like a proper camera with me for several days in Copenhagen. And so for that period of time, I was like, well, I'm going to feel sad if I don't have any sort of camera. Maybe I should, like, I don't have it in my budget to buy, like, a new, like, professional quality camera from, like, the Currys in the airport or anything like that. So I'm just going to buy 2 single-use cameras from the W.H. Smiths. And so I bought 2 very expensive single-use cameras. Holy crap. But 2 single-use film cameras from the W.H. Smiths. And I got through 1.5 of them. And the one that is a nearly finished but not quite roll of film has been sitting in my purse for the last, like, 2 years now. And I keep forgetting it's there, so I never take photos with it. And I really need to just take some photos with it. Because there's going to be mystery stuff on there that I do not remember taking. And I want to know what it is, damn it. Anyways, Burb, says Tals. Hell yeah. Hello and welcome to the Burbs. I hope that you're having the loveliest of lovely days. I just learned that the dishware that my parents used growing up in the 80s contains unsafe quantities of lead. So that's fun. But the good news is they don't use them anymore, I guess. And haven't for, like, at least 20 years, I think. But, oh no! Apart from that, I need to look up a South Island Robin, so that I can get a good feel for what's the deal with their what shapes and patterns do their feathers want to be when I'm painting them in, because that feels like, important things to know if I'm gonna do this little creature justice, and I would like to do this little creature justice. Then I should have hopefully have some good references for it. God, they're so cute. They're so stinking cute. Let's see. Okay, let's see how these. Tasty lead. No, it's bad for you. In some undefined ways I don't really know that much about. I know it's bad for you. It's you want to try not to ingest it. Ideally, I think, is my general understanding. Okay. Oh, look at his little face. They're so cute. This one's got a little sort of like white crest just over where its eye is, or not its eye, where its beak is. I didn't do that here, but I really like that detail, and I'm pretty sure that this paint is not going to lift. But if I could get any of this paint to lift, That would be real stinking cute. There seems to be a reasonable amount of variation in this this Robin. Toxic lead. That's more like it, Talis. Yes, exactly. Toxic lead. Don't you ingest it if you can avoid it. Okay, that didn't absolutely bupkis, so I think maybe this is a bit of a fool's errand. Actually, that's lifted a little bit. I think that's done something, so I'm gonna stick with that. Okay, cool, awesome. Speaking of things, actually things you can ingest, I just want to bring this back because I think it's fun. I am actually going to be putting out a YouTube video soon, everybody. How exciting is that? This painting I did yesterday is going to be in it. And also tomorrow I will be releasing a shop update, so watch this space, I suppose. Here's a link to my YouTube. If anyone is not subscribed and wants to be subscribed, subscribing to my channel is free, and I update very infrequently, so you're not going to be annoyed with continuous updates and tons of videos you don't want to see, because I don't make videos often enough. I'd like to try and change that this year, but, kind of requires me to, you know, unburn myself out a smidge. And also have a little bit more time on my hand, which maybe I will soon. Who knows? Who knows which way the wind is blowing in this here studio? Oh, the birds are singing their beautiful songs out there again, and it's lovely birds. I wish you could hear it. It's lovely bird song. Anyways. I can't have, like, a bird camera or anything, because I don't have, like, a bird feeder. And I don't think there's anywhere really out and around my house where I could put out a bird feeder so that you could see and listen to birdsong that wouldn't just, like, immediately dox me. And this is gonna sound wild, but I kind of don't want absolutely anyone on the internet to be able to find out where I live. Wild, I know. I mean, you know, actually sometimes I will see you know, not like random citizens who, you know, are pretty much only have friends and family following their accounts, posting, you know, like, here are my kids in front of my front door on their first day of school. Like, okay, whatever, because, like, you know, who's gonna look at that and who cares? But I see people who have, like, you know, like, in the 6 figures of followers on social medias, just posting, like, here I am in the front yard of my easily identifiable house, and you know what city I live in. And I'm just like, okay, but you are a person who lives on the internet. There's gonna be somebody weird out there. There is a very real possibility that somebody weird out there is going to very easily be able to extrapolate where you live based on, like, the visual information you've provided about your home. You don't want people coming to your house? That's creepy! So, you know, even though I'm a very small potato with, like, less than 2,000 followers on Twitch and about 200 followers on YouTube, I don't want people coming to my house. So I tend to be kind of protective of that. Tal says, it is kind of amazing that the white pages used to just tell you that for everyone. I know! Like, it was weird. Like, I could, you know, be like, oh man, I'd like to hang out with my friend, Jesbert, and I would just look up Jesbert's name in the phone book and find, aha, you know, like, surname J, and their address and telephone number, and I could just call them and be like, hey, are you free? I can walk to your house right now. And they're like, do you know where my house is? And I'm like, it says so right here in the phone book. That's weird. These days, if someone rings me, I'm like, how did you get my number? I don't give my number to anyone. If someone came to my house, I'd be like, what? How did you? Just don't come to my house. Don't come to my house. What the hell? No. Sledge says, it's okay, I only post my address, not yours, babe. Thanks, honey. That's very helpful. Remember the days of ASL? Yes. And Boy, did I never tell anyone any of those things either. I am without form and beyond all time. My existence is beyond your comprehension, I would say. People didn't seem to like that. That's not American Sign Language, by the way. For younger viewers, that was age, sex, and location. Yup, the old internet. Anywho, shall I get some texture onto this little South Island robin? I think I shall. What I'm gonna do, just for funsies, is add make it a slightly bluish gray. There isn't really a lot of blue. It's a fairly neutral gray, but I just think it would look really cute if I added a little bit of a slightly bluish grayness to this. I think that would be nice. Anyways. Okay. Okie dokie. I'm gonna... So... I can't really add in that little sort of like doot of white feathers just atop the beak that I very much did not do. But not every one of these robins has that, so I think that's fine. But what I'm gonna do is I'm not gonna add this additional depth of texture to that little patch. And see if that's more like it. But yeah, looking at this photo of the South Island robin, there's definitely quite a lot of... Definitely a real textural component to these, like the head plumage, which is really, it's so cute. So stinking precious. I think I really love the way that you, like, birds, the way that, like, you can see what looks, at least to us, like the personalities of these birds, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like you can see a personality in some of these birds. Like, when they look like they're really sort of, like, thoughtful, like, inquisitive little creatures. I love that. I think that's so precious. Is that me, like, projecting, you know, sort of, like, human values onto them? Mayhaps to a certain extent, but, like, they might also be inquisitive creatures. I don't know. Anyways. Alrighty. One of the other things that I was thinking about while I was on break, very briefly, but I did think about it, and this kind of comes back to the conversation we were having earlier about, like, both about, like, you know, sort of the fact that I do photography, I just never post it anywhere, but also, we were talking earlier about sort of, like, film directing and that kind of thing, and how you contend with, people just grossly misinterpreting the intentions and themes of your work. That's part of the reason that I kind of moved away from certain aspects of photography that I used to do quite a lot of. Was I got a lot of people who either just out of, like, maybe I wasn't expressing myself very well, or maybe they were choosing to, like, look for things that I wasn't putting into my work specifically, but a lot of people who would just, like, misinterpret the themes of my work as a photographer, and I often found it very frustrating in that way. But also, you know, again, maybe I just wasn't expressing myself very well. Maybe I wasn't doing a good job of putting across whatever the themes were. And, you know, this is, like, so long ago, I don't really remember what my point was. But I remember seeing a lot of people being like, oh, man, I really love this. And I'm like, well, that's really not what it's about. And I found that to be a very frustrating experience a lot of the time, was having to kind of, deal with that. Hello.
T. Gantia cheered. X100. For the robins. I saw a robin on a post in the park today. I was waiting in the car and rolled down the window to hear its lovely song. A squirrel came by and it was ridiculously idyllic, like a Disney film.
Oh my goodness gracious. First of all, Tegan, thank you very much for the biddies. That is very much appreciated. And also, that is like the most Disney prince or princess or whatever the gender neutral equivalent of prince or princess moment is like that I've ever heard in my life. That's so lovely. I love that for you. Oh, bless. That's so nice. I love robins. They're so sweet. But also, thank you very much for the biddies. That's incredibly, incredibly kind. Armory, hello, welcome in, and what up to you too? How are you doing? It's lovely to see you. Welcome in. Tells us, "Daw." I wholeheartedly agree. Cranky says, Emperor? Monarch? I feel like... I don't know. Anyways. Also, hello, Tegan. I hope you are well also. I hope you're having the loveliest of lovely Mondays. Royal Air, says Tals. There we go. Yes. Perfect. But that sounds so nice. I love that for you. I can identify all of these as armory. Yay! They're birds! Good job! Good job! Well done. Congratulations. Anyways, this in particular that we're getting some feathery doots onto right now is the South Island robin, also known scientifically as the Petroica australis. So there you go. I'm not good with scientific names, by the way. Trick question. One is a government drone, says Cranky. Also, hi, Cranky. How are you doing? Tee-hee. Tee-hee. Oh, my goodness gracious. Y'all. Y'all. Oh, gosh. Okay. I'm going to continue adding in some little feathery textury doots onto our like wing section here. And then there's quite a lot of the gray. Quite a lot of the gray. It kind of fades into the white segment on the tummy, but this is quite it's quite a gray bird. This little guy. But it's a very lovely shade of gray. Lovely shades of gray, I should say, because they're not all the exact same shade of gray either. Shades of Grey, everyone's favorite episode of Star Trek The Next Generation. If you don't know of whence I speak, go look it up on Memory Alpha. It's terrible. Anyways. Tal says they are in progress pieces of art that represent birds in 2 dimensions using a variety of pigments. Thank you so much for the actually. I appreciate it. It would be weird if I was applying a paintbrush to an actual literal bird in the studio. Or anywhere for that matter. That's a weird thing to do. I am painting a representation of a bird, not applying paint to a literal bird. Why would I do that? That would be weird. There's a lot of fluff going on in this underwing segment, so gonna try and capture that vibe as best as I can. And hope that I'm doing okay at it. Doop, 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 doop. Okay. Anyways, in case you're wondering which South Island this refers to, it is the South Island of the lovely Aotearoa, New Zealand. Which I will one day visit and see many birds in, I hope. Oh, man. Weird everywhere but a taxidermy shop, says Cranky. Oh, beans. Please do not taxidermy these guys. They're sweet. Anyways, what was I gonna say? Blah, 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 No, my brain has fully melted out of my ears today. I've lost the ability to think properly, I think. Whoops, and also, oh no. I think what I might do is just water my brush down a little bit and just slightly darken the wing and tail feathers again, because that seems to be the vibe, I think. Okay. Is it these ones? Tegan, thank you very much for the follow. Welcome on in. Hello, hello. Yes, go to Bird Island, says Cranky. Have you ever wanted to go to Guinea for the birds of paradise, or is that Madagascar? There's a lot of places that are really good for birds. Um, and the answer for a lot of them is no, because also there are a lot of really beautiful birds in a lot of really warm climates. And I don't do well with heat, humidity, and a lot of sunlight. So, yeah. Too damp, says Cranky. Yeah, I mean, do I live on dampness island? Yes, I do. But with that being said, um, it also doesn't tend to get over 30 degrees Celsius here. So for the most part, it's manageable temperature-wise for me. The summer does get a bit rough. The summer does get a bit rough. I wasn't expecting literal fanfare, says Tegan. My princess vibes again. Hell yeah. That is that. So all of the alerts, or most of the like the new followers, subscribers, biddies, that kind of thing. All of those alerts come from the classic, like usually 60s or 70s ident music of different ITV regional affiliates here in the UK, because I've had some weird hyperfixation eras in my life, and for some reason, like, vintage television idents is one of them. To the extent that you'll notice Anana here, who is a pineapple who holds our paintbrushes, is a French-Canadian pineapple, and as such, there's the CBC pizza. I do consider now. I think technically it's they call it like the gem logo or something, but to me it is an exploding pizza, and it always will be. Anyways, it's cold damp. Yeah, says Cranky. Yeah, it's cold damp here, especially February is a very cold damp part of the year in my experience here. Like, it's been very wet for the past few weeks. Last year we actually went away for a few days for our wedding anniversary, and I got sick because it was cold and damp the whole time, and it turns out that our hotel wasn't particularly near a bus stop, so we had to like walk a reasonable amount to get anywhere from our hotel. That was Wales, incidentally. Which is lovely. I love Wales. I love visiting Wales. I think it's a wonderful country, but it was very cold and very damp, and I did get sick, and that was not pleasant. But I still had a nice time with my moderator slash spouse. You know, we went out for a fancy meal, and we saw the sights and wandered around and drank some good coffees and all that good stuff. Found some place that did a decent gluten-free pizza with aubergines, a gluten-free pizza with roasted aubergines. Oh, lovely. It was really good. But yeah, I could only eat like half of it because I was in the middle. I was like right in the midst of coming down with like some kind of cold whilst out for pizza. Yay! Hell yes for ITV regional affiliates, says Tegan. Yeah! Sorry, I don't know if you know the YouTuber Adam Martin, who's an expert in that stuff. He even has a video of the old on the old ITV regions. Ooh, I'm gonna check this out after stream because that is my jam. Thank you very much indeed. I appreciate the heads up and the recommendation. That's rad. Because yeah, it's a fun time. It's a weird fun time, but I'm into it. I'm gonna take a sip of my pineapple mint tea, because this tea has been discontinued for a while, and I'm like rationing it out because it's my favorite flavor. Ooh. And I'm gonna be really sad, but I've got like probably maybe like 5 to 10 portions of it left. I'm gonna be very sad when I run out of it. But the trouble with rationing out over a long period of time a discontinued tea is that eventually it gets to the point where sometimes tea, like, I tend to ignore the best before end dates on teas if it looks fine and it smells fine, I will probably just drink it because it is, like a moisture-free, extremely dried product that's meant to last a while. But with that being said, sometimes you have to concede that it's time to throw away a bag of tea. I had an herbal tea that I don't think was even that far out of date or anything, but I made a cup of it and it just tasted like dirt. And if your tea tastes like dirt, I feel like you probably shouldn't drink it. It's just sad because I don't want to lose pineapple mint. It's my favorite flavor. It's so good. It reminds me of the tea that my grandmother used to make. She would take like mint tea and add hibiscus and lemon juice to it and brew it up really strong and really sweet, and it was so comforting. And this tastes like that to me. So this is a very comforting taste for me. But when it's gone, sad faces. Moisture can get in and it degrades, says Armory, but if it's in a sealed thing, it lasts longer. Yeah, absolutely. I had this fruit tea that I had bought like several bags of. And then it was like, I didn't put them in like the normal part of my house where I store my tea. So I just kind of found them while I was clearing things up, and I was like, oh, I remember this tea. Yeah, I'm gonna open one of these and make it. And it was like fully sealed. It was a fully sealed bag, and I think it was within date as well. But I opened it up and I went to make it, and I was like, nothing about this looks like it's like I know what a freeze-dried raspberry is supposed to look like, and it is not supposed to be that color. So I binned all of it, and it was very sad. There was a bit of sun here in the Midlands yesterday. A conversation I overheard coming out of Aldi was it's barbecue weather. The other person, no, it's not. Yeah, no, it's not. With that being said, I was very grateful. I was out yesterday doing a little bit of socializing around midday in Oxfordshire, and I was very, very, very grateful that by the time we concluded our socials, we were worried when we got into town that it was going to start raining and be all grim and stuff, because it looked like it was going to. But by the time we finished doing our socializing and headed off to grab, sort of some takeaway for lunch and go run some errands, it was beautiful, beautiful sunny day, absolutely delightful. Was really happy to be out in that for a bit. I don't normally prefer exposure to the sun, unlike most people in this country, but I don't mind it so much when it's like the cold damp, because the damp really does kind of seep into your bones after a while, and you start to look like the haunted the haunted antler clown that I am right over here. That's me. So, anyways, I have to, did I tell y'all that I was thinking of creating another new PNG tuber? Namely, it's just me at my desk looking like I do when I'm streaming. This is the most accurate depiction of me on stream as I'm able to do. I didn't draw in like my entire camera setup or anything here, because like that, I think that would just start to make it a little bit too complicated. But this is what I look like when I'm sitting at my desk most of the time. I've got like a frumpy cardigan on and some pajama trousers, and my hair is a mess, and I am bent over like a shrimp. So, anyways. Exclamation mark stretch, says Styles. Okay, fine. Ow. My back is actually kind of killing me today, to be fair. So, it's probably a good idea to do a little stretchy do. And we still haven't had a day in the UK in 2026 without rain. There's a village in Devon that has had rain every single day. Oh my god, seriously? Oh my goodness gracious. Like, I feel like people tend to, like, the collective British memory tends to be biased towards remembering the times that it was grim and that it rained, and forgetting all of the times that it was like unseasonably hot and sunny, which it does get sometimes in the summer. Certainly here in this like weather pocket of Oxfordshire where it seems like everywhere else in the country is getting snow. Are we getting snow? No, we're getting a little bit of rain. But it's definitely been wet this year. It has definitely been wet this year. Even I've noticed it's been very wet this year. Yeah. The people there are feeling very damp, says Casa, but the fact that there is actually a village in the UK that has had rain every single day of this year is, you know, maybe I need to revise my assessment ever so slightly, and it is fair the extent to which some people recall how rainy it is, because damn. Oh my gosh. Mm. Anyways. CMES Infinity! Man, I wish I was in that kind of weather. My preferred way of wetness. Aw, beans. Sunny wet as heck. Ooh, what, like sun showers? That's both of the bad things at once. I'm so sorry. Also, hello Infinity. Welcome in. It's lovely to see you. Welcome, welcome. Hope you're having the loveliest of lovely Mondays. North Wyke is the Devon place, says Casa. Well, Casa, thank you for the heads up. I'm going to not move to there. Partially because my safe shoe, aka my preferred, so I have two styles of shoe that I've kind of compressed my shoe experience to. I really don't want to have to wear, for the most part, anything except these two shoes, notwithstanding the slippers I wear when I walk around the house, because I wear slippers in the house because it's nice to have slippers on in the house. Anyways, apart from like the slippers I wear in the house, which are just these little, sort of house shoe type things, I wear Adidas Gazelles if the weather is too cold to not have. If it's too cold to be not without socks, I will wear Adidas Gazelles. If I can get away with not wearing socks, which I do most of the time, assuming it's not absolutely tipping it down with rain, I wear like Tom's Canvas shoes. And those are my two comfortable shoes. And so I have like a couple pairs of each. I do get through them relatively quickly because they're the only shoes that I wear, but they're also the only shoes that I wear. Sun showers are fine, just sun, the heat. I don't love that for you. If that's not your thing. It's very much not my thing. That's part of the reason I chose to move to the UK of all places. I am not a fan of sun exposure. It feels it's a deeply unpleasant like it's weird, and it feels like it's one of those instances of like I feel like I'm being gaslit because everyone is speaking to me with the assumption that this is my preference when it's hot and sunny out, and everyone's like, finally some good weather, and I'm like, my skin hurts and I feel like I need to run into the shade and like cry. Like my senses are overwhelmed and I'm breaking out in a rash. And there's literally no escape because nowhere in this country has air conditioning, and I'm uncomfortable and I hate it. I am not a summer enjoyer by any stretch. Like my energy levels, which are already depleted, are even more depleted when it's hot out. I can't exert myself as much. And also, like the sensory experience of feeling like, when you get that blast of heat when you open the oven that's been preheating to, like, slide your frozen pizza into there? Like, stepping out into the sun in the middle of summertime is like that for me. But, like, prolonged the longer I'm under the sun. I can't do it. I can't do it. And then it feels like everyone around you is talking like, oh, this is so great. Don't you love it? You love this. With the silent implication that, like, what the hell is wrong with you if you don't love this? And it's just, like, I will assert in no uncertain terms that, like, no, actually, I can't, I don't really like the sun. And then people will just look at you like you're from another planet. So, yay! It's weird. It's bad. It's weird. I always find it weird, like, existing in those situations where it's just assumed, people just assume that, like, their experience is universal and talk like their experience is universal, and you just have to kind of smile and nod, even though, like, your experience is not universal. I'm experiencing this very differently to you. It's weird. It's weird. Okay. I need slightly more of my dark gray. But also, I'm going to alter the shade of it a little bit again. I'm going to pick up a little bit of this dark brown and add that. Maybe just thin it out just a little because I don't want to accidentally make it be too dark. But let me see if I can... Okay. I'm trying to be semi-accurate, but you know, I'm not necessarily going for like 100% scientific accuracy because I suck at that. So forgive me. It is a somewhat stylized bird that we paint here. And that's okay. There we go. I think that'll do for now. This is obviously not like the finished doodad. And then we've got these lovely tail feathers. I don't know why for a South Island robin I got so northern there for a second. I'm very sorry. I did used to live up further north than I do these days. Anyways, in a little small city called Manchester. You might have heard of it, but that was a very, very long time ago. It was a very different chapter of my life, to say the least. There we go. Some nice tail feather definition here, I think. At least I'm into it. What color are your legs, South Island robin? Are they the same color as your body? I feel like they might be slightly browner. But it's hard to say because they are quite dark. I might just add a little bit more of this brown. Tal says southern New Zealand is like northern UK, further from the equator and closer to the pole. Not sure if that impacts the accent though. I don't think it impacts the accent in that way. You know, I'm not an expert on regional variations of the New Zealand accent, but I don't think South Island New Zealand equals like Yorkshire in terms of what are they doing with their vowels, or Newcastle or Cumbria, you know. I don't think so. Oh, bliss! Get a lot of these legs, like sticks. That was the one thing that I did note about this specific robin species is how much like they've got long legs and their legs are sticks. It is very, very cute. I am a fan of their leggies. I think they're very cute. Okay. All right. Sticks. Until I moved here, says Armory, NL. Is that Netherlands? In which case, hello. I didn't really think about if New Zealand is New Zealand, where's the old one? I can tell you exactly where the old one is because I've been to Old Zealand. It's a part of Denmark. And now you know. It is, in fact, the bit of Denmark that Copenhagen is in, which is a city that I've been to. So technically I have been to Old Zealand. I don't think they call it Old Zealand. They just call it Zealand. But it is, in fact, a bit of Denmark. So, and now you know. There's a Zealand. A Zealand in the Netherlands, too. Is there? Oh my god, you're right, there is! Oh, damn! That is also almost, I mean, I assumed that the New Zealand is named after the Danish one, but it might be named after the Netherlands one. It is a slightly different spelling, but like, what if? I don't know. I know not. What I do know is that the only bit, apparently it means sea land. Yes, indeed, indeed. Indeed. Well, there is quite, Netherlands does have some sea adjacency, so it makes sense. What I do know is that I have been to one part of the Netherlands, and I really liked it. Specifically Amsterdam. I've been to Amsterdam, and I found it to be a very walkable city, and I like that about it. Also had some very good coffees. And also some really good gluten-free baking. So thank you very much for that. Anyways, the place is chill, defo, very flat though. Yeah, and again, very walkable to that end for me. I love a flat city for walking purposes. There are a few places that I've looked at like visiting. There are a few places that I've looked at moving to, and I'm like, oh, that place is too hilly. I'm not going to enjoy walking that. Like Bristol. Bristol is a lovely city. It's a really fun city. There's a lot of neat things in Bristol, but also it's got some steep hillage that I don't want to try to walk up with my tiny legs. No, no, no. Tal says, I've technically been to Amsterdam, but mostly only Schiphol. Oh, so like the airport. I mean, the airport's alright. I'm gonna be honest, I don't really remember the airport particularly well at all. I think all I did in the airport was like go through airport security, buy a coffee, and then went and sat at my departure gate until it was time to board an airplane. So we kind of spent most of our time at the airport just walking through the airport and not really having time to look at anything. But when I was waiting for my departing plane, I did see that was literally just before I was boarding the flight. I was like, okay, they're gonna start announcing boarding in a minute. Do I have time to look at this? Because I got a ping on my phone, and the ping on my phone was that they had announced a release date for Silk Song. And I was like, I am not going to be able to sit on a whole ass flight not knowing what this major Silk Song announcement was. So I had to, I looked and but I didn't want to put my headphones on and like listen to the video, so I watched it without sound because I didn't want to miss if they called like that it was time to board the plane. But yeah, that was fun. Anyways, but yeah, the Armory says, yeah, definitely a challenge cycling in some places. Yeah, I believe it. I am too anxious of a person to be like a major city cyclist anywhere. Like I live in a very cycling heavy city. I would not cycle here. It is also because the thing is, okay, I live in a very cycling heavy city, but I live in a medieval city that I think, unlike certain other like European cities that are known for having a lot of cyclists, there is not nearly the amount of like infrastructure here for cyclists, which means there are just some places where like technically there's a bike lane, but it feels like you're taking your life into your hands if you do decide to like cycle down this hill or around this roundabout. And I say this because you also see, the occasional like floral tribute in certain high traffic areas where like, oh, something happened here. I don't want to be one of those statistics, so I will not ride a bike in this city. Even if it is a very popular thing to do. That airport feels small to me, says Armory. Yeah, I don't think it's a huge airport. And you step straight out into the train station area. Yeah, which is nice because it's very easily linked to from like the center of town and that kind of thing. Like I appreciate how easy it is to get to other places from that airport. Because I've had airporting, like the airport nearest my hometown in Canada. There is not There is not an easy rail link between that airport and where I live. I would have to, I would have to take I would have to take a train into like central Toronto and then get one of the like 4 trains a day that runs to my hometown. And when I say the 4 trains a day that run to my hometown is not like a pokey little, sort of nothing city. It is a city of like, I don't know, probably like 150,000 people. It's a decent mid-sized city, and it's very hard to get to and from the airport. So we always just like book, like having like a van come pick us up, which is way more expensive than, the like €5 it costs to get from Schiphol to the middle of Amsterdam. And takes so much longer. Anyways, I've flown through it quite a bit, says Talls, and spent only 1 actual day in the city. Yeah, fair. It is, I feel like it's a city you can do in a couple of days. Again, partially because it's so walkable. Yeah, I don't know. I like it. We found a really good Japanese restaurant when we were there. I don't remember the name of it, I'm afraid, but it was really good. Yeah, it's a nice place to walk around. Anyways, and also there's, what was it? Craft Coffee and Pastry is a gluten-free bakery. It's near, I don't remember what the street is, but I think it's in or near the De Pipe neighborhood, if you know where that is. And they do, like, their croissants, the best gluten-free croissants that I've had. Anywhere. And also they did a really lovely, and I apologize to any Netherlands folks in the chat for my pronunciation, but they did a really, really, really good gluten-free geval de koek. It was really good. Anyways, croissants are always a good time since summer. I love croissants. They're so good. I can understand that I would not risk cycling in the UK. In Netherlands, though, I would. Absolutely. Well, again, I think it's an infrastructure thing. Like, they have infrastructure for bikes, and people understand that this is where the bikes drive, and it's not where the cars go. So it feels a lot safer, like they'd have to mount the pavement to get, to hit bikes, like in a lot of areas. It feels like more streets have been planned for it, because streets have been planned for it since, like quite a long time ago compared to other cities that sort of, have like decades and decades later catching up. Yeah, I don't want to reel too much of my city. That is, please don't dox yourself, for sure. But the infrastructure is perfect. Yeah, absolutely. Traffic is segregated from bikes. We have bike lanes here in the UK as well, but sometimes you'll find yourself in a situation where, like, okay, there's a bike lane, and then the bike lane just ends, and it's like, if you're on a bike, you're like, where do I go? Do I just merge into traffic? This doesn't feel good. Especially, like, in London, it can be kind of tricky. And then there are some, like, posh neighborhoods, I think, sort of in the west bit of central London that are just like, we don't want bike lanes. It's like, okay, well, you suck. Anyway, but yeah, so struggles, challenges, big challenges. I want to texture this Siberian blue robin next, so I'm gonna look them up. But we're gonna go into a break in just a moment, because it's that time. I grew up in London, says Armory. I'm sure it's changed, but I would never, ever, ever cycle there. I think I'd end up on someone's bonnet, says Armory. Yeah. I do think there has been a reasonable amount of trying to be more infrastructure for cyclists and more cycle friendly, but again, it's very inconsistent across the city whether or not you'll actually there actually is that. So it's if you're trying to get from like one end of London to the other on a bike, your experience is going to vary wildly depending on which like borough you're going through, I think. But anyways, on that note, we are about to run into ads again, so I'm going to pop on the BRB screen so you don't miss anything, and I will be back very, very shortly. Have an enjoyable break. I'm sorry if you have to see ads, but you're not going to miss anything, and I'll be back very shortly. BRB, everybody. Sorry about that. Why was I muted? Oh no. Hi. Anyways, hello, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed the piano break. It looks like people did. Tal's dancing, Arbery's dancing, and Tegan appreciates the twinkly piano. Well, hello everybody, I'm back. Hi. Anywho. Oh, I do apologize. Oh, what the heck is happening to my throat right now? Sorry about that. Anyways. Where was I? Oh, yes. It was a graceful moment. Bad cough. I think I just, I don't know, choking on my tea. I'm gonna take another sip just for safety. Minty. Good. Okay, it's time for the Siberian blue robin. You'll never guess. You'll never guess where the Siberian blue robin likes to live. And if you did guess, good job. Anyways. Oh, fun fact. This is a fun fact. Blue places, says Armory. Excellent guess. Bermuda, says Tals. Perfect. Wonderful. Good job. Fun fact. So, as older viewers may remember, the North American robin is called a robin because of its resemblance to the European robin, aka they both have orange tummies. So it was named a robin after the European robin. But in fact, the North American robin is not a member of the same bird family as other robin species. It is a member of the thrush family. So there you go. However, interestingly, I just now learned that the Siberian blue robin was formerly classified as a member of the thrush family, but was since reclassified along with the robin family. So now you know. Lapis wants to know if I have a Discord server. I do. I have just posted a link to the Discord in the chat. You are welcome to join. There's the usual set of rules applies. It'll be there when you go to join. And it is a place where you can hang out. If you make artwork and stuff, you can share your art there. If you stream, you can let us know when you're live in that channel. If you baked a really nice loaf of banana bread that you want us to look at, you can share a picture of your banana bread and talk about, like, whatever. It's a chill place. It's a pretty quiet place, but we have fun there. And you're very welcome to join. It's also where I will reliably post when I have gone live. And additionally, other things. Come on, brain. I also put my schedule up there at the top of the week every week, so you can find out, like, oh, are they streaming at all of the normal times this week? Or are they off one day because they have a doctor's appointment, or they're going on vacation or anything like that? You will find out all of that stuff there. Or if I'm having, like, an emergency and my internet's not working and I'm not streaming that day, I will also put up an announcement there. So, if you rely on that kind of information, it's a good place to find it out. But also, sometimes we will just post dumb, silly things for fun. So, yes. Anyways, but yeah, I do have a Discord. Anywho, okay, Siberian blue robin. I'm going to need, so I've got my 1940 set, another Gansai paint set, but this time I'm gonna take, so for this Siberian blue robin blue, I want to do a combination of this blue is too vibrant and this blue is too muted, so I'm combining the two of this sort of indigo with the other very, very bright blue into, and I'm just mixing this in with the gray that I've already got on there, and hoping that I will get an appropriate robin blue at the end of it. Anyways, as a robin enjoyer, I'm having a good time. Anyways, Tegan says, fun fact, all Siberian blue robins are fans of the song Blue. by Eiffel 65. Daboo-dee, daboo-die. Daboo-dee, daboo-die. Indeed, indeed. Oh no, that's gonna be stuck in my head for the rest of the stream. I don't. If there are other words to the song, I don't know them. The only words I know are "I'm blue, daboo dee, daboo die, daboo dee, daboo die." That's all I know. Classic. Good to know. We are learning so many interesting ornithological facts today, and I am so here for it. Oh my god, their plumage is so stinking pretty. It's so pretty. Oh, they're heckin' gorgeous. I feel like I could have gone in a little bit more with like a granulating dimensionality to this plumage, because I'm seeing, I don't know if it's just this photograph, but I'm seeing like dimension to like the shades in this blue that I feel like I could have done more with. I want to Do I have on my person at this moment some appropriate granulating pigments I could just kind of throw on there? I think I maybe do. Maybe one of these. Maybe one of these I could just do a little top coat with one of my many shades of moon glow. That could work. How's this one look? I'm just gonna test it out onto here. If I just wet like a blotch there and then throw some of this onto it. How is that gonna look? Actually not sure about that. That's a little too purple. Do I have one that's got a little bit more green in it? I'm sure I do. This is my like many shades of moon glow palette, where I was just desperately trying to create my own version of, there's a Daniel Smith paint called Moon Glow. This is even more violet than the other one. That is a really beautiful mix of colors, but it is also, it's not entirely light fast, because one of the pigments in it is not light fast. So if you were to like display it in a, well lit room for too long, it's gonna end up transitioning from this weird sort of like granulating grayish violet hue into like teal, because you've just lost one of the colors. Okay, I'm swatching these out and immediately forgetting which one's which, so which ones have I done? I don't know. Ah, shoot. I'm just gonna lay one of these on top of it and see how we get on. Because why not? I can do whatever I feel like. And I feel like these feathers just have like an interesting quality to them that I feel like I could maybe bring out a little bit more. More so than anything else, like texturally, I think I could do that. Okay. I don't know which one of these I should use though. They're all kind of not quite there. But I think maybe like the second one that was that this one? What the hey? Let's just mix up some stuff. Get a little wacky and see what we end up with. I think that's fine. I think that's entirely fine. Okay. Anyways, I'm just getting silly now, I guess. But that's all right. So how do I want to do? So this is about to get potentially interesting and hopefully not ruined. I don't think it will be. I don't think it's going to get ruined. I think it's going to get real pretty. That's what I think it's going to get. And that's nothing bad. Okay. That's not a lot. Pick up a little bit more and maybe a little bit of You also. Okay. Hell yeah. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Getting some good bloom happening, which hopefully will give us some interesting textural elements to our plumage, which we've not really been playing with so far. But I think we're going to look heckin' cool. But also means that I can't really do more precise textural stuff at the moment, because now this paint is really wet, and obviously that's going to need to sit before I layer anything else on top of it, otherwise it's just going to bleed out. But I really like the way that looks. But basically, what for anyone who's like, what the hell are they doing? So these pigments, these paints that I've just done are all comprised of granulating pigments, and the cool, fun thing about granulating pigments is that they, if you do a really nice wet wash with them, they, like, you get, especially if you're using a textured paper, and this is a you know, reasonably textural cold pressed paper, the pigments will like separate out from each other when you've mixed more than one pigment together, which can lend you some very interesting like textural elements to your piece. Case in point, one of these colors was used to create this friend over here. But likewise, what can I show you? This is about to be released in my next shop update, which is dropping tonight or tomorrow. And I made use of a lot of granulating pigment blends for this. I think this was my Frog and Toad palette that I used for this? Or was it the Lunar Red Rock palette? I think this is the Frog and Toad palette, but don't quote me on that because I genuinely don't remember. It might not be. This is Craig. He's the Toad Wizard. But if you take a look at, like, especially if you look at Craig's robes here that have a lot of, like, texture and, like, dimensionality of color, it's because he's a magical wizard boy. But also if you look at, like, the stones in the background that had that very sort of, like, craggy sort of stone texture, that's because some of the pigments will sort of, like, sit on top, and some of the pigments will kind of settle into all of those little nooks and crannies of the textured paper. And yeah, so we've got some super granulation happening. I used it for sort of the gradient of just sort of the blurred background outside the window, that kind of thing. So that's what we're doing. Anyways, there is a, so that's coming in the shop update as well, which is going to be going live hopefully this evening, but I'll be announcing it like formally tomorrow. And there's some Hollow Knight prints. Coincidentally, tomorrow is the 9th birthday of Hollow Knight. I made a fire horse inspired by your watercolor, says Alice. Oh, hell yeah! And it's in the Discord. Hell yeah! I look forward to checking it out after the stream. If I try and open Discord while I'm streaming, I will break my computer. I know this because, yeah, like, I basically can't run anything that's not stream related when I'm streaming, or it kills the stream. The computer does not like me doing a lot of things at once, and streaming is apparently very demanding, but I will check it out later. And again, anyone else, if you are in the Discord, go give Lapis' art lots and lots and lots of love. And check it out. And feel free to post your own if you'd like to. Ooh, it's a very cool fire horse. Oh man, I want to see. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna see if I can get. I'm gonna see if I can look on my phone. Ooh. Okay, I'm checking it out on my phone because I'm like, RAM prices are outrageous. I understand. Oh, apparently so. Yeah, which makes me nervous because oof. Oh my goodness, that's rad as heck. Also, happy Lunar New Year, everybody. That is so super cool. Thank you very much for sharing. I love seeing what y'all get up to. Nice. Thank you. But yeah. Anyways. And again, if you're not in the Discord and you do want to join, the link is up above in the chat, and you are very welcome to do so. We are a chill place, and I think generally very mutually supportive when it comes to creative endeavors and stuff as well. Oh man, this Yeah, this bird is looking so much cooler now. I'm really into this texture. That's rad. Okay, awesome. Yay! Good job, me, I guess. I'm gonna have to move on to the Japanese robin for now, so I will take a look at the Japanese robin. And we'll come back to the I'll come back to the Siberian blue robin next time, and we'll probably finish this next stream, I would guess. Because there's not that much more to do on it, which is good, because I don't want to spend the rest of my life painting this. I don't want to, you know, I don't want to rush myself doing things, but I also don't want to be doing the same thing forever and ever and ever for the rest of my existence. Oh, they're so cute. I love when I just love when they do this with their tails. And Japanese robins, there's a lot of really wonderful photos of Japanese robins with their tails just like sticking straight up in the air. So I had to do that because it's so cute. They are so cute. I love them very, very much. Okay. Also, nice textures happening here. I'm gonna do the robin's orange head first, I guess. If I may. And we probably won't go on too much longer because I'm going to have to make soup and stuff after we finish, and also get all those listings up on my shop. Which, if you wanted to earmark my shop for when it updates, I will pop a link in the chat as well. Anyways, hello. Lapis says, a fun fact: feathers use light refraction to create colors, employing microfilaments of protein to reflect the right colors and make parrots appear green when they are actually blue plus yellow. Oh gosh. I do love a good feather texture. Also, the light, like, color. I'm getting to grips with color theory. I think color theory is very cool, but when it comes to like what is actually happening with like the manipulation of light to create color, my brain just goes like. That's very, very neat. Thank you for sharing the fun fact. There is. Speaking of, I was talking about the Netherlands earlier. One of the things that I really enjoyed when I was in the Netherlands was the preponderance of parakeets near our hotel, and they were just a whole buttload of them all hanging out in sort of a group of trees near the canal, and that was delightful to me. I spent quite a while just standing there at dusk, being like, "Ooh, what flavor of bird is this? Oh, it's that flavor of bird. That would explain why there's one painted on our hotel room wall." They were so cute. I love them. Anyways, it's that kind of thing where like I'm always really surprised when people are like, "Oh, we hate the local wildlife. They're so annoying." And I'm like, "No. I want to befriend them all." I don't understand. But I guess I'm just, by my own nature, a gentle creature enjoyer, at all times and with all things. And if it may be said that a creature is misunderstood, I will probably love it with my whole heart. So, you know. I'm normal. Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! I had a big blobbit of water just came down onto my brush and made a bit of a blob there. But I think I've managed to style it out as best as I can. And I think it'll be fine. Okay. All right. Just noticing some slightly different feathery shapes here. So I'm gonna try and get those into place as well. Anyways, in case anyone's wondering, Sammy's apparently Snow White. Apparently so. I don't know if I could have if I could have a Disney again, I don't know the gender, what's the agreed upon gender neutral for prince/princess, I don't know, but if I could have a Disney one of those moments, you know I super would. Or at least I'd feel like I am, and other people like perceiving me just see me like covered in pigeons. Like, you ever see those people that like feed pigeons, but they're just like covered in pigeons, and it's kind of weird. I don't think I could be that person, the covered in pigeons person. I don't think that's me. I do listen. I do love pigeons though. Pigeons are adorable. They're so sweet. I wish to befriend them all. But I don't want them literally swarming me for snacks. that less so. But, you know. Apart from that, okie dokie. Anyways, but, yes, okay. I'm just gonna, oh, no. Okay, Bristle is trying to escape my brush, so I'm gonna get rid of it before it puts brush strokes where I do not want them. No, thank you. And I'm actually gonna, I feel like some of these feathery doots are a little too pronounced, so I'm actually gonna kind of blend them out a smidge. So it's a little bit, because it's quite a smooth feathery doot system here. So I'm gonna kind of style them out a smidge. So there's texture, but it's a little bit blendier, you know? Hell yeah. I think that looks, yeah, that looks a lot smoother. That looks a lot smoother, gentler, more the correct texture. So I'm feeling that. That's a good, and it's always these things always look super weird to me until I've like finished the until I've finished all of like the line weight and like coloring in their eyes and stuff, which I tend to do last. Okay, so this one's got more sort of like pinkish legs, so I'm gonna paint that in. And then we'll do sort of the brown and black, brown and gray rather, like feathery textures, and then that'll probably be it for today. Because I do need to go make lentil soup. Specifically like a dal style lentil soup. So, some spices and ginger and garlic and turmeric and cumin. A pinch of asafoetida because it makes it all delicious. You know, all that good stuff. And I like to add a little swirl of yogi at the end because I think it's yummy. Okay, we've got some, those legs are very pink. Maybe those legs are too pink. According to the random person on Reddit, princeps, the Latin root of prince/princess, is fully gender neutral as it is a third declension noun. Okay, well, I guess I could be the princeps. It kind of just sounds like I'm mispronouncing princess, but I'm here for it. A Disney princeps. I like it. Thank you, Lapis. Thank you, Taliesin. Lapis says, reading okay, so we've got princeps from Tals, appreciate it. Lapis needs a reading recommendation. Number 1, Evil Elsa and Lion Jesus. Number 2, Vikings on a ship in the English Channel. Number 3, Magic and Swords in South America. 3. I'm here for 3. Theo Arts, hello, welcome in. How are you doing? It's lovely to see you, and welcome. I hope you're having a lovely Monday. We're painting some robins. But yeah, if I had to pick from those, I would go with 3. 3 sounds fun. I'm doing great, says Theo Arts. Hell yeah. Love to hear it. Love to see it. Wonderful. I'm going to, now I didn't really have like the bang on brown for this, so I think what did I do? Did I just kind of combine like the brown and orange together maybe? Maybe that's what I'll do. Okay, I'll read my friend's book, lol, says Lapis. Oh, did your friend write it? That's rad. That's rad as heck. We love to see that. Okie dokie. So I'm gonna pull up this. This is kogecha, which means roasted tea. Or does it mean black tea? No, is this black tea or roasted tea? I don't remember. Don't tell anyone, but I don't speak fluent Japanese. I mostly know words for food and place names. Forgive me. Okay. Getting a nice robin's feather brown here. Nice, delightful. Theo Art says they look pretty. Oh, thank you. I'm trying my best. Lapis says, well, I can translate the preface, but it's all in Portuguese. Fair enough. Well, listen, as long as you can read it, that's the important thing, right? So fair enough. But that is neat. Tegan says, could I ask what's the title of the book if you can say, to Lapis? Ooh. And then that, okay, well that's all, that's not English, that's also not Latin alphabet. Oh wait, is that, hold up. I would ask in general if you're going to put things that aren't in a language I speak, in chat to that. Well, that apparently is the kanji for sushi. But again, if you are going to put anything that's in a language that I can't read or speak reliably, to provide a translation, because otherwise we can't moderate for that. But that is indeed just the kanji for sushi, apparently. Well, now I wish I had sushi. I had sushi for lunch yesterday. It was nice. Had some kappamaki, and what else did I have? Just some salmon. And some seaweed salad. It was fit. I do like it. I do like a good seaweed salad, you know. I do. Ooh, the book is called Golden Sword, but it's not available online. He writes, oh, it's just like a hobby. Oh, that's really cool. That's really cool. Love that for him. That's really sweet. I really want to. I'm quite heavily into doing some writing at the moment, but not really a lot for, nothing that's really ready for publication yet, which I feel a little sad about, because I would love to have a book out sometime reasonably soon, to get some bookishness out of me. I think would be really nice. And I do have a couple of works in progress, but then also the traditional publishing system also scares the crap out of me. Pretty much everywhere I've previously been published, in terms of, and I apart from my own sort of like stupid graphic novel / cookbooks, which are quite a few years old now, and I'm really, I don't promote much because I'm like, oh man, my art was bad back then. Which is probably not true. It's probably just the perspective of knowing that my art is better now. But in terms of like book stuff, everything that I've published up until this point has been literally because I was approached by someone who was like, hey, do you want to write something for this like essay collection or this short story collection or something like that, which means that in terms of like trying to get an agent or contact a publisher or do any of that stuff, I am fully out of my depth and utterly freaking terrified. Yippee skippy. Which also means that I'm really dithering on this stuff and not finishing anything because I'm nervous. It just, I think because, like, if I finish a painting, I can just unleash it upon the world and it's done. If I finish a book, it has to go through, like, processes before anyone actually gets to read it. And that is scary. I mean, obviously there's self-publishing, but self-publishing I think is a lot easier when you have, like, the backing of a large audience that is going to buy and read your book. Otherwise, you're kind of throwing it out into the ether, this thing that you potentially spent years working on, and if you don't have a built-in audience that's going to be like, yeah, I'm going to read this and then kind of pick it up, you might find yourself having spent years working on something and 4 people read it. And that feels weird to me. But that's just because I do think, now, obviously this isn't the same for everybody, but for me anyways, when I create something, and some people will say, well, don't you just create for the joy of making stuff? And I'm like, yeah, 100% I do sometimes make things just because, like, I want to do this thing and I don't care whether or not anyone else consumes it. But then most of the time when I'm making something, it's because because it's a means of connecting to people, like storytelling, not story shouting into the void. You know what I mean? But anyways, in case anyone's curious, I've got 2 kind of major works in progress at the moment. One of them is semi-historical, semi-fantasy, but not in the way that, more in this, like, sort of gothic sense of, like, ghosty, paranormal-ish happenings. And the other one is somewhat more of a straight-ahead kind of semi-comedic romance, sort of spy novel, kind of, a little bit. And they're all gay. They're all extremely gay, because it's me. I'd read the Sammy Rillian, says Moriax. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Well, then I'm going to have to finish it so you can. The difficult thing about writing a book is that you need to be conscious while you're writing. The opposite of what I do when I draw. Oh, wow. I mean, I'm not sure how true. There is some stuff that I've written and I'm like, huh. Well, apparently I did that. So it'd be like JoJo. I have never consumed the JoJo, so I don't know whether or not it's JoJo-esque. Anyways, I'm actually not familiar with the JoJo very much at all. Anyways, I assume that's the JoJo of Whence You Speak that I am speaking of. But now that I've said it out loud, I don't know. Anyways, okay, let me see if I can try and work out what is going on with this wing texture, because it's doing some interesting things. There's kind of a little blip bloop up here, and then it's kind of, what direction? It's going like this. Okay, so there's kind of, okay, you can't see the textures I'm putting in here, but it's kind of like that. And then this is just a normal long feather. So now we're getting into, like, the nice long old wing feathers. Thusly. And then also under here. Okay. Cool. Anyways. Hey, we got some textures happening in here. Hooray. Sweet. Okay. Anyways, I need a better reference of a Japanese robin with its tail sticking up. So hold up. I'm gonna do another little image search for that so that I can. What is the tail texture doing right before we get to the tail feathers? Here we go, here we go. I love this photo so much. This photo is so good. It's like, hey, hey, hey. Like, having seen the Japanese robin in action, I know that they're actually just doing little, like, beep, 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 or little, like, you know, sort of beautiful little sing-songy bird calls, but just capturing, like, a still of it like this just looks like it's going, hey! Or, ah! Which is very funny. Sammy's watercolor avatar. Is that me? Is that my PNG tuber? Hello. Says Lapis. It's so simple and mesmerizing. What kind of witchcraft is this? It's watercolor paint. It's just watercolor paint. That's all I know how to do. But thank you. Appreciate it. Okay, so the texture at this point in it is fairly kind of just simple, straightforward, and a bit downy. And then we get into the orangey tail bits. I love that the tail has this vibrancy to it. I think that's very fun. Little bird at carnival. Oh, bless. That is so stinking cute. That is so stinking cute. Okay. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna just rough in some texture here, and also kind of darkening it down slightly as I go. Dar. Aw, oh, dang it, cute. We do need to add a little bit of texture to the tummy feathers as well. With the tummy feathers, that being said, there is a little Is that a little, was that just like a flake of paint that just flaked off? I think that was just a little flake of paint that just flaked off. It's kind of an interesting, I notice on some of these robins that there's actually a little bit of a line of like slightly darker gray feathers. Right where sort of this bit where the orange feathers and the gray feathers meet, which is kind of neat. So I think it'd be nice to kind of establish that, and then obviously get some little bit of feathery texture along the tummy. And these are all quite soft and fluffy textured in here. So kind of blend out that little delineation. Which again, all birds are different. I think they don't all have that quite so pronounced, but this one that I was just looking at that was going, hey, does. So Pigeon, hello, welcome in. How are you doing? It's lovely to see you. Welcome, welcome. Ah, yes, the notorious 20s gangster, Tommy Feathers. Lapis says they're drawing you, Pigeon, and Pigeon says, oh my god, yeah! Hello. I mean, we're certainly drawing birds. And to be honest, I'm probably about at the end of my bird drawing journey for today, so I'm afraid you've come just for the ending. But that's okay. It's nice to see you, however briefly. I hope that you are well. I'm gonna call it there for today because I've got to go make soup, and I am so zonked. I had a very active weekend, and I am now very tired as a consequence. Oh my goodness gracious, I am a CB little bear. So I'm going to need to do some industrial strength resting this evening. And I hope that's okay. And I've lost a little, there's a little index card that goes inside my paint palette. But I'm going to find some place nice for y'all to be rated into. And I'll be back on Thursday finishing these birds as well. So that's hopefully something fun to look forward to if you are into that kind of thing. And also possibly at some point I will premiere another PNG tuber, because I can't stop making them apparently. And also at some point soon, this will be appearing on my YouTube channel as a small, like 5-second graphic in a much larger video. So if you're not subscribed, you can. That's free. You can do that if you want. No pressure, obviously. But, yeah. Good news, everyone, says Lapis. I got a job. Congratulations. I'm going to work in a hospital pharmacy and buy expensive painting supplies. Oh, congrats. I hope it all goes very, very well. That's rad as heck. And on that very, very good news, what a wonderful bit of news to end the stream on. Let me see if there's somebody I can do a little raid on. Where are we? Who's live right now? Who have we not raided in a little bit? That we could go say hello to. Who is doing stuff? I feel like it's been a while since we said hi to Yepany, but I honestly don't remember. But Yepany's nice, so let's go say hi to Yepany. Unless Yepany's just about to finish, in which case, ignore me. Doing some cozy co-working from the looks of it. Ooh, snowed in. Oh my goodness gracious. Well, in that case, I hope they're staying nice and cozy and warm. Looks like they're having a good time, so let's go say hi. I'll pop a generic raid message in the chat, if I can. And I'll thank y'all for hanging out with me today. It's been very, very nice having nice folks to hang with while I paint stuff. And I'll be back on Thursday doing a little more of the same. We'll learn some more about birds, hopefully. And we'll finish these bird paintings, hopefully. There's a raid message in the chat. If you have the emotes, feel free to grab the emotes. If you do not have the emotes, you can just say generic raid message or append any cool emotes that you do have. It's all good. I'll be back very, very, very soon, on Thursday, in fact. And I hope you have a good week in the meantime. And thank you so much for hanging out with me today. It's been super fun. Thank you for watching. Take care, everyone. Have a good evening. Good night, and good luck.